Hey guys, Kai here. As I mentioned in the previous video, I was going to do a video about the woes of paying child support. So, I was told by my ex about 7 years ago, something like that, 8 maybe, or 6 or 7 maybe, some odd years ago, that she had gone down to the local office because she needed to get something, food. I think she tried to tell me food stamps the first time, and it was basically I got a letter a week or so later, after she told me up and down that the local lady at the local office that she'd gone to, they wouldn't be doing child support, you know, nothing like that. Because at that time, I had my kid pretty regularly. At that time. So, about a month or so later, I get a letter in the mail. And it says that I have a child support judgment against me. And that I currently owe, at that time, about $3,000. I was like, what the fuck? I hadn't even heard that there was anything it brought against me. Nothing in. All of a sudden, hey, you've got a judgment. Congratulations. So I go down to the child support office and I call them up and I talk to them, and they're like, oh, well, because you are under the federal threshold, because you don't make enough money, we've already judged we've already judged in your favor and decided that you owe us, oh, I think I was targeted for $275 a month. Now, I was working minimum wage, well, a little over minimum wage anyway, something like $9.25 an hour, but I was only working maybe 30 hours a week. And I can't remember if I had started getting my VA checks at that point or not. I went in there and I was like, well, you can't count my VA checks anyway because they're federal disability checks. So I punch in, oh, that isn't even a mile down the road. So I punch in, I call, and, you know, talk with them. I was like, well, this is how much I make per hour, and that's under your thing. How do you figure I can owe how can I pay $270 a month? And they're like, oh, well, this is the minimum that we can bill you because you're under the federal minimum that you should be making. Apparently it was, federal minimum was $12 an hour, 40 hours a week, based on. So I make my minimum payments, blah, blah, blah. And then I lose my job because the family moved to the coast, beautiful Oregon coast the first time. And I lost my job, did unemployment took my checks, blah, blah, blah. So a year or so goes by, a couple of years, and then I meet Kendra, and we decide to move back to the coast again. And completely out of the blue, I get this letter from Oregon Child Support saying that you need to make payments or your license will be revoked. And I thought, wait a minute. I'm trying to find a job here. I don't know, I had a job at the time. And I started making the payments, and then I missed one payment. The next month, my license was revoked. Thinking, how am I supposed to be able to go out, find a job, and make the money to pay the child support and the past due support, which for years they were taking my taxes to pay that, and I was like, okay. All this work I'm doing for work, and now they're taking my taxes, so they've taken my taxes, so, oh well. turn around and we get married. She moves in with me, and we move to the coast, and now they're doing all this stuff. So I call them up. I'm thinking, hey, what's going on here? And they're like, oh, well, our system automatically updated and notified you that since you're over $2,000 of support, of past due support, then we can automatically revoke any and all licenses pertaining to you and such. Well, I turned around and, well, what do you mean over 2,000? Well, the system must have caught up the backlog. And I was like, wait a minute. I was over $2,000 when you guys sent me the first letter. How is this possible? Now, a number of different people have said maybe somebody, spoke up and go, hey, this guy hasn't been paying his child support. He moved. Maybe anonymous calls and whatnot. So maybe that's how it came about. But I've been paying since. Freaking pop-up message. An app has failed. Okay, I don't care. So yeah, that's what happened. And there's those shows on TV and such about what is it? What's it that Kendra watches? She watches Teen Mom 2. And they're all like, oh well, they're paying the minimum. They're paying $100. And I was like, $100? How the hell do I get paid? How do I go about doing that? How is that fair to anybody else? These other states, they can somehow bypass that minimum threshold shit. But since I've worked with my caseworker, and every 3 months I got to sign a new agreement so that they don't start shooting back up to $270 a month, which me not working, and I got an interview, thank God, on it's about to close. Shit, I should have known that beforehand. Thought about it. Known beforehand about some of the things. Apparently I can fill out some form and it'll stop they'll readjust my child support to a more manageable level. And I need to get that paperwork once it comes back in the mail and whatnot gets done and sent back, so that will get taken care of. My minimum payment amount will drop significantly, hopefully. But unfortunately, there's not really much they can do with that because I owe so much back child support from the points when I was not working and unable to pay it, because the only income I really had was my VA check per month. So that's pretty much where I'm at currently with child support. My message to all those fathers out there that are still working, they're still trying, is if it's been a few years since that child support order was put into effect, and you've gotten a lower paying job since then, I would seriously contact your local caseworker and see if you can get that paperwork that I got to have that amount lowered down to your actual level, because apparently in 6 years they've changed how the law works, and they can actually charge you less than what was originally shown, which will work out in my favor for the time being. But unfortunately, that paperwork, it's all bureaucrat. So even though they say, hey, you fill out this paperwork, hey, it's still going to take 3 or 4 months. And then they would really bothers me a bit about it is not only will they do yours, but then they'll contact the other party and go, hey, well, this guy's put in for a change of support value. We need to verify how much you're making to see if the support values are correct, which really gets to me is because when my ex had done all of this, she wasn't working at all, and neither was her boyfriend, and I guess that's why it went up so high, apparently, from the people I've talked to, of course. So I'm down to that point where I need to get this paperwork, once it comes back in, filled out, sent in, get all the paperwork processes going, because I'm going to be paying until he turns 18, unless he goes to college, which I, really hope he does. Gets a really good education, and we go from there. So again, message to all those dads that are out there that are paying and feeling the pain of child support. There is people out there watching your back. Call your caseworker, try to figure something out, and dude, you're next. I'm still waiting. Maybe something can be done to help you out too. So that's my little public service announcement for the week. Hopefully for the week. Week's almost over. It should be for the week. So my message to all you good folks out there is just try to keep your head above water. I know it's a burden, and I know it can be tough, but everybody you have to do it. You have to be able to do the support for your child. Another word to the wise: go through child support to send your money for the child, because I honestly, there's a lot of bad parents out there, and you don't want to be sending them cash because, well, cash you can't. They turn around and try to take you to the courts. They're not going to be able to. Cash doesn't go anywhere but in somebody's pocket. There's no trail. Sure, you could be the stickler type that writes down, hell, here's all of the serial numbers from all the bills that was given to them. Well, we still can't track serial numbers on bills, sorry. Use a check. That way there is a paper trail that, yes, you were paying some sort of money. Or go through the child support office. Hell, I don't even send the checks right to them. I use State of Oregon has an online payment portal. I use that, and that way I can go. The state can go and look at it, see what payments I've made, and I can go in and see what payments were made. That way, the money is supposedly going to the child. And, that's pretty much it, guys. Child support is going to wreck your life. But only if you let it. They say, some mother gets child support, she's going to go after the father for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and you're going to owe for the rest of your life. Well, if you get ahead of the game and go, okay, well, you know what? Sure, hit me up with that. And I've been sending you checks all this time, so I've got a running record of what I've paid. So when you go, hey, this deadbeat son of a bitch, he has not sent me one single dime. Well, hey, I can go right down to my bank and get a a copy of all the return checks that were cashed and sent to you, saying, hey, I've actually done my part, I've paid my money. Where is all of the... You really think you are a sack of shit? You Lincoln MKX 994XSX do not know the words of merge. You do not gun it to come within inches of the guy behind you. You slow down and let this guy pass and hope for a break. I don't like Washington drivers. They think they own the road. Guess what? This ain't Washington, it's Oregon. So, folks, fathers, the system works both ways. You think you're out of the loop? Hey, you know what? Get in the loop. And you'll find out that loop works for you just as well as it works for her. With that, good day, folks. And keep loving your children.